this episode. I said, oh, okay, that is her. A little sloppy, okay? It was a little sloppy. But that was, I said, oh, okay, apparently, you know, she be getting it in the video games. Real life, I don't know, probably not so much. But the video games, we're going to come back to that. We're going to talk about the fight scene when we get to it, okay? The episode starts in 2028. We see Burton, we see Connor, we see the boy with the gray hair, whom we haven't seen so far anymore. We see some other dude. Can't remember all the names. Oh, Leon. We see them all, okay? And they show us the scene from episode 5 when Alita was talking to Grace. And she showed her everything that was going on in the stub and with the dog. Okay, so we actually got to see that scene in person. Well, not in person, but you know exactly what the heck I'm saying. And we see that everything's fine with them, okay? They're talking about the fact that the dog is probably a trap, okay? They've been using dogs to get people. I mean, and they're far away, looking at the dog through a scope, talking about how, you know, they should probably just take them out. But they're kind of like not really wanting to take them out because it's a dog, okay? You don't want to take out a dog if you don't have to, okay? Same as humans. Don't be heartless, okay? Kind of goes down there. He starts cutting the barbed wire. He sees something on the dog's collar, okay? I said, oh, you sneaky jerks. You actually would do that to a dog. What's wrong with y'all? You don't have any decency, okay? You don't have any love in your heart that you would hurt a dog like that did absolutely nothing to you. And even if he did, why would you? Okay, so he sees the collar. He sees that it's leading to something else. He don't even get a chance to really wrap his head around what happens, because man goes flying, 100 feet in the air, back down on the ground, and then he ends up in the scene that we've seen him in many, many times. When Grace and Alita were talking about the fact that they were actually controlling those people, their compassion, love, empathy, anger, all of that, I just thought he went down there with no compassion. I'm gonna do what needs to be done. No. I think they turned up his compassion and turned down his common sense, okay? Because why would you go down there to save a dog when y'all were literally just talking about the fact, okay, that the dogs are traps? Why would you go down there and do that? Risk it? I don't know. Obviously, it's because compassion turned up, common sense turned down. So once we see Connor up in the air, down on the ground, we end up going to the future. We see this woman just walking around in grass, but obviously we know it's the future, okay? So where the grass come from? This woman comes up to the woman we see walking in the grass, okay? Turns out the woman's name is Beatrice. Turns out the woman we initially see walking in the grass, her name is Ainsley Lowbeer, okay? It's a funny last name. I like it. She goes up and tells her, hey, the guy Daniel, the security guard for RI, for Charisse, was off, okay? And it turns out he was off by a Coid, which is the little robot thing, right? So the woman starts talking in every single riddle and metaphor that there is. It was very confusing. I was just like, please talk normal. Basically saying, all right, we're going to go figure out what everything is. So then as they're walking, they turn off assimilation. And then we realized she obviously was not walking in a field of grass because London is looking real terrible, okay? She was walking on the rooftop. I said, well, that's depressing. That's very sad. Why would I want fake grass if I would never be able to have fake grass? Go back, boom, into the present. And we see Tommy trying to convince people down at the police station that he was, in fact, hit by an invisible car. Now, obviously, it's impossible to convince anybody of that. They were like, well, what are you hit with? He was like, it was camouflage chameleon. All right, go to the doctor. You need to go to the hospital. You sound like a lunatic. And that's basically how they treated him. You sound like a lunatic. Didn't sheriff give you some off days? You should take them. He sent you on leave. Get to stepping. He ends up going in the bathroom to clean off his face because obviously he's in that police station just everywhere, okay? Cuts and bruises everywhere. He goes in the bathroom to clean up his face. Sheriff comes in there. Didn't I send you home? He said, look, Sheriff, I want to get the guys who did this. Sheriff said, whoa there, you got a little bit too much dip on your chip. I said, well, somebody did just hit your officer. But he said, no. What you need to do is slow down, hold your horses for something else happens to you. He didn't say it exactly like that, but I got the drift. Okay, I said there's a threat underneath there, right underneath there. He's threatening that man. Okay. So Sheriff goes in the bathroom. He's like, take the days off. So he goes in the stall. Tommy hears him whistling, okay? Then sees the same cowboy boots that came and bopped Bob all on up out the car. He said, it was you that hit me. I said, it'd be your own people. Be your own people doing you dirty all the time. We go back to the future. We see her talking to Wolf. They just having a nice little conversation after she just got done shutting stuff down. Okay, he says to her, you got that dog in you. I was not expecting you to do all that. He didn't say it like that, but he definitely was like, oh wow, you went in there and put the paws on Sharice. Then she asks, hey, why is it even when we're out, why is it that all these people don't ever actually get close to us? We see them walking, but they're avoiding us. He says, turn down the haptics or whatever the heck you want to call it. He said, do like this. She do like this. It is not a single soul outside but them. Okay? She said, what? Where are all the people? What's going on? He says, do like this again. Buildings just looking terrible. Okay? Run down, dilapidated. He said they haven't been fabricated yet. So, some of them been rebuilt, but some of them haven't. So they just fill in the blanks for us. Now, the thing that got me, though, it was like, okay, the buildings haven't been finished being built, but the statues are real? Those are real? Why did they build anything that tall? Was that the first thing they started working on? Why was that important? Ever. Be like, you know what? All our buildings aren't together, but look at these masterpiece statues we have that no one can go inside. If I can't live there, I don't care. So then Flynn goes in and says, if the Research Institute is doing all this out in the open, what do we think they're doing in secret? And it's like, well, you already know what they're doing in secret. They're opening 8,000 stubs. They're playing doctor. They're doing whatever they want to do, okay? Getting people tossed around, okay? They try to take you out. You know exactly what they're doing in secret. That's a dumb question. Then Wolf is like, hey, the guy that worked with the leader, I know who he is. Let's go on over there and let's get to talking to him, right? He goes over there. He's like, let me get a toad in the hole. I'm pretty sure that's what he asked for. Let me get a toad in the hole. Dude, Reggie said, we don't got toad in the hole. He said, pretty sure you got toads in the holes, okay? The girl, Abby, that also works there is like, we don't got toads in the holes. And if you ask for it again, you better get out, okay? They asked for it again. Had to call the bluff, okay? So Reggie takes him down to the basement, okay? Reggie's down there, Abby's down there, Flynn, Wolf. Flynn's sitting in the chair, and he's looking at her eyes. She said, is it possible to have information downloaded onto the stub? He was like, yeah. Flynn's like, okay, well, what about replacing it with the human eye? She said, they get the scrapping, okay? Immediately. I said, God dog. I was not expecting it to happen at all. Flynn came out the woodwork. I'm talking about every weapon that they could get their hands on was in Reggie and Abby's hands. And at first I was like, oh, she's not going to make it out of this. But then that was when I realized, oh, that was Flynn at the end of episode 5. She do got that dog in her, okay? Because she was like, pop, 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 knocking weapons out of everything, okay? Just, you talking about disarming everybody. She knocks Abby out, all right? Knocks her out, okay? Disarms Reggie, okay? Abby comes back with a vengeance. She's like, do it again and you won't have a hand, okay? Reggie's like, cut it out. You're telling her to cut it out. You're the one that swung first. The whole time this whole fight's going on. Soon as it started, Wolf backed out the way. Oh, what? I understand she's in a robot body, but you can do something. Why you got this girl taking on 2 people when you just standing back? That's my girl. No, that's not your girl. Get your butt in that fight. Then go ahead and ask him about Alita, what she was working on. He said, if I tell you the neoprim's gonna take out my tongue. I said, what the heck is the neoprim? They talked about it for like 3 episodes, but they said nothing. They just say the word. Just throw it out there. Like, oh yeah, there's a neoprim over there. Thanks. Thank you so much for telling me absolutely nothing. So I had to do a little internet research, okay? Obviously, they say the word a lot in the book. It's used in the book, and they explain it in the book. Basically, it just stands for neo-primitives. So that's just those people that want to live life like before the jackpot, okay? Before all the technology came about. We go back to the present, okay? We see Connor rolling down the street in his 6'4". He ends up having to fix his bike. This dude Macon comes rolling down the street, and he's like, oh, you need any help? And he's like, did they call you? And he was like, And he said, did they call you? And he said, they did call me. So in the end, Connor ends up asking Macon, hey, what exactly would be necessary for me to live inside one of these peripheral bodies for the rest of my life? Because obviously, his quality of life is just not what it was for him initially, okay? And it wasn't on his own terms, okay? So he's like, what would I be able to do? I've lived like it before. I would like to live like it longer. And Megan's like, look, I don't think it's possible. He's like, I'm trying to do it for the rest of my life. Figure something out. Back to the future, and we see Ash talking to Ossian, and we see that she's building the peripherals for Connor and for Burton. We go back to the past. We see Tommy getting his head tested with Lydia, okay? She says, what the heck is wrong with you? Why won't you just take leave? He said, I want to figure out what the heck is going on. And he's like, I want to figure out why they did it. And she says to him, you're like the frog that ends up transporting the scorpion across the river, and then as you're drowning, you're trying to figure out why the scorpion stung you, okay? You are not these people. There's nothing to figure out. You're a frog playing with scorpions. You're gonna get stung. They don't have a reason. It's just in their nature. And he said, they're not about to run me out of town. I'm gonna do what I want, girl, and you're gonna be here when I get back. And in my mind, I was like, never be here. No. We don't have to get married anymore. We're just engaged. If you want to go play Superman, I don't have to be here, okay? We don't have to do this. Because right now, you're not listening to reason. Right now, it's a pride thing, and you're getting too wrapped up in it. We go ahead and switch views. We see Mary and Corbell in the kitchen of their own house, and they have Bob. Okay, so what does that mean? That means what we already all were thinking. Okay, I thought Corbell hit Tommy, but we found out the sheriff hit Tommy. But we found out with the scene that the sheriff gave him over to Corbell. They got a shock collar on this man. Like he's a doggone dog or goat or whatever else wears shock collars, okay? Got around his neck. But the man, whole time, he's looking around. He's like, I'm going to get you with that. 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 And obviously, true to his nature, he did try to get him with one of those. He said, shocked the mess out that man. Asked Corbell if Corbell hired him. Corbell don't really answer. But then Corbell asked him what the heck is going on. Obviously, they have no answers. They just know somebody's pulling strings like a marionette puppet on the both of them. Switch to some more people back in the prison. Okay, we see Connor and Leon talking in the trailer, in Burton's trailer. And, you know, Leon's there trying to help. Obviously, they're all still trying to be amazing friends to him. They really don't understand the fact that they were played, okay? Somebody was also pulling their strings like marionette puppets. There's a lot of puppetry going on, and there's a puppet master, and they just don't know that, okay? So, obviously, they feel bad, but they genuinely want to help him. And I think that's really hard for him to understand because he just feels like everybody feels bad for him. And it's just like, maybe they do. But they also are your friends. They've been your friends. They want to help you whenever and however they can. Your life is different. And theirs is not in that way. So they want to help. Leon asks Connor, hey, do you want to offload so that I can actually help you? You can get some sleep. I know you haven't been sleeping. And Connor's like, no, I'm good. I got it. He's like, well, you can offload or I'm going to sing. Start singing. Terrible. Connor's like, fine. So he just kind of gives him his memories, you know, lets him inside of his brain so that Leon can take that, falls asleep immediately. Out like a light. So we go to the future and we see Ash talking to Ossian and we see that she is looking at the brain scan that Dee Dee did of Flynn, and she's noticing that she actually has, you know, that infection in the occipital lobe. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but in the eye, okay? Ash is feeling like Alita gave that to her on purpose. She don't feel like it's an accident. She feels like it was a very purposeful thing for some strange reason. And I'm trying to figure out, why would you give me an infection on purpose? Why would you take out my eye for no reason? Why would you put in another eye? And then how did that eye get transmitted to me? Or did it get transmitted through the headset some way? There's a lot of stuff going on that we just don't know. While they're talking about that, door rings, okay? It's Ainsley and Beatrice. As they said, they're going to get down to the bottom of it, and get to the bottom of it they will. Okay, so Ossian opens the door. He's like, oh, hello. He nervous, okay? Quivering, shaking in his boots. He goes to Lev in the kitchen, and Wolf is in there. He's like, the Met police is here. And he's like, is it just a police or an inspector? He's like, it's an inspector. Wolf's like, should I go? Nervous, okay? Trying to slither out of there like Lev's wife was saying in episode 4. You always trying to slink off. Slink he was trying to do, okay? Lev's like, no. She's already here. She knows you're here. Lev says, call my father's solicitor. Ossian said, I tried. Phone line's down. I said, oh, she got you trapped, okay? You're like a rat in a maze. You're not going anywhere. He's like, well, let her in, doggone it. She's already here. If we take any longer, she's going to know something. That Wolf come out there because she knows you're here or else she wouldn't be here. Okay, she goes in there speaking riddles and asking all these questions about what is a stub and why. All the questions that we answered already. And Austin comes in the room because he's like, I made tea. He asked her how she want her tea. She's like, she said splash of milk. Man, I said, this man's gonna spill tea everywhere. Nervous. Okay, he hands her the tea. She say something to him. He was scared out of his mind. Okay, I said, oh. Okay, she don't look that menacing, but obviously she is. Obviously she's a force to be reckoned with, and reckon they will. Back to the past. We see Tommy roll up to Burton. Okay? He's like, what the heck is going on? Clue me in. Now, Burton, very D-bag behavior. I said, this man just got hit by an invisible car. This is the third invisible car he's found. Okay? Man's taken away. You know exactly what the heck is going on here. Fill him in so he don't just get got, okay? Because he's in it. They're gonna go gun for him. He was like, what'd you do? How'd you mess up? This is all your fault. Stay out of it before you get yourself off, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, wow, how very unhelpful, Burton. You really could have helped him, but you just said, you know what? No, I don't like him because my sister likes you. Put that aside. Please. Switching people. See Corbell goes to the police station. He's chatting it up, just confirming once again that they are working together. He has the po-po in his pocket. You can't do nothing there. Maybe not Tommy, but everybody else in the pocket. Okay. He goes in there so he can view the footage, doctor it up. That way nobody would be any the wiser except for Tommy, who got hit. Then we switch again. Okay. We go to Mary. Mary's talking about, she says, Corbell said I could get a car. Okay, if I could get you to talk. He didn't say what we had to talk about. He just said get you to talk. So let's talk about something. He just starts asking questions about this huge fish tank she had. And she's like, oh yeah, it's fresh water. Salt water's terrible for the fish, blah, 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 right? Man walks over there, just boom, boom, with a paperweight on the tank. It cracks, doesn't break at that point in time. She shocks him. She said, you're out here playing games? It cracks, they get washed up by the water, right? So he comes to, she tries to shock again. He got her hand on the foot. Both out. I said, girl, don't you notice why he put the water there? Like, I think the hand could have worked regardless, the hand being on her foot, but, the water being there, it just confirmed. We're all about to go down. You shock me, you shock you. I said, this man is not playing no games. What you're not going to do is hold me hostage. Now, hopefully he can get up a little bit faster because he's already been shocked 3 times, right? I would like to think that eventually it don't have the same effect on your body. Your reaction times get a little bit faster. So they lay it out and we go back to the future. Okay, we see Lev talking to Ainsley. Lev asked Ainsley, should I get my lawyers? Ainsley says to him, let me tell you how to go if you get your lawyers, okay? She goes through the whole thing. She said, ultimately, it's going to end up with your man's Wolf here just not making it out of this whole situation right here in this doggone living room. And I was like, I don't think that's the route Wolf wants to go, so I don't think we should get lawyers involved. Wolf, whole time, just shifty-eyed, trying to get out of there. Sir, calm down. She can smell your fear. At the end of all that, she says, look, go ahead and bring your peripherals and their owners here. I see that there's 3 on site. I want to see 3 people and 3 bodies immediately. So they go ahead and call him up. Okay, Burton was already at Connor's house. He brought him some legs that Megan had made for him. And he's like, Flynn's already given me legs. I know what I want. Burton says, well, let me think on that. Okay, but they end up having to leave. Okay. Now they all got to go slip into the peripheral. So they all get in there, okay? In the future. And they get introduced to Ainsley, shake her hand. I said, this is not going to go well. I'm interested to see how that conversation goes next episode. I don't see Burton, Connor, or Flynn lying or covering up for anybody to get out of that situation. So I feel like they're going to play it straight. And they're going to be real serious about what's going on. Maybe they may not name names as far as Sharice being involved. But maybe they'll talk about what actually happened when Daniel and the robot bust in. And how he got taken out there. And why there's a fake one roaming around right now. Because as we know, all the CLEPT, the MAT police, and RI, they're a checks and balance situation. So obviously if the RI oversteps, one of the two is supposed to step in and shut it down. So we'll see whose side Ainsley's actually on, okay? Is she for truth and justice? Or is she like, all right, well, don't nobody care about that. It's too complicated, even though it seemed like she understood it all. What did y'all think about the episode? It was crazy. And I was wrong. what y'all think about it. I'll see you on the next episode. Okay, bye.